week 10 of the fantasy basketball season, and here's a few forwards I would look to sell high or trade away this week. The first guy's Domantas Sabonis of the Indiana Pacers. So Sabonis, it's been a great season for him and a couple Indiana Pacers. And the All-Star reserves came out last night, and a lot of people said Sabonis and Malcolm Brogdon were snubbed. And I could make a case for that too as well. Sabonis, he's been great this season, but he's also a sell-high candidate in my mind. On the season, he's ranked 42nd in fantasy basketball, 21.5 points a game, 11.6 rebounds, 5.7 assists, a 3 a game, 71% from the foul line, and 52% from the field is a bonus. In the last couple weeks, he's ranked number 10 in fantasy ball, 23.8 points a game, 11.2 rebounds, 6.8 assists, 2 steals a game, 1.8 blocks, a 3, 48% from the field. So as a bonus, he's putting up huge numbers. And this guy, you definitely could argue he should have been an all-star. Him and Julius Randle, their numbers are pretty similar this season while you look at it. But I feel like Sabonis had a couple bigger games than Randle. But Randle got the nod because that Knicks team got turned around. But anyway, we're talking fantasy here. And Sabonis, his last 3-4 games, he's really exploded with huge numbers and huge games. But now, Indiana, they haven't played a ball game since February 17th. And here tonight, they versus the Golden State Warriors. And hopefully this game happens here. But Sabonis, the numbers he's putting up, I don't think he's going to sustain them. And you could trade him off and definitely get one big piece for him or even 2 solid guys in return. The last 3 games, February 13th at Atlanta, 14 points, 13 boards, 7 assists. Then versus Chicago, February 15th, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, a whopping 4 blocks, but he did have 8 turnovers in that one. And then February 17th at Minnesota, his biggest game of the season, with a huge triple-double for Sabonis, 36 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, and a block. So after a big game like that, that's where you try to put a big guy on the block who don't usually have big games like that and see what you could get for him. And that's the classic case here with Sabonis. I know he's a great player, no doubt about it, but I think you definitely could sell him high because some of these stats and some of these games he's having, I don't think it's going to continue. And if you get it blown away with an offer, like I said, you sell him off. The next forward's Terrence Ross, the Orlando Magic. Terrence Ross, he's a streaky player and he's a streaky shooter, no doubt about it. But that's what just comes with shooting the basketball and playing in this league. So Ross, he's been up and down this season. There's times a lot of owners drop him, but now his percentage has gone up 6% this week. He's owned in 71% of fantasy leagues. On the season, he's got 15.6 points a game, 3.4 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 1 steal a game, 2.1 threes, 41% from the field. But in the last 2 weeks, he's ranked number 45 now in fantasy basketball, 20.7 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 3.4 threes, 41% from the field. So Terrence Ross, he's been putting up big games the last 3 or 4 games. His shooting's been more consistent than it's been a couple weeks ago. But like I said, he's a shooter and he's going to go in peaks and valleys with huge games and then games where he's going to shoot 30% from the field and not have a good stat line for your fantasy team. So right now, he's riding hot. But if I could trade Terrence Ross for a better bench piece and a more consistent player, this is the time to do it. February 19th versus Golden State, 24 points, 4 rebounds, and assists, 3 steals. February 21st versus Detroit, 17 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 3 threes. And then February 23rd versus Detroit, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, a block, and 3 threes. So the stats have been there. He's giving you a little bit of everything right now in fantasy. But when he's down, he's really down as Ross. And right now, I think you could sell him off and get a good bench piece for Terrence Ross. The next forward is Davis Bertans of the Washington Wizards. Bertans, he was dropped in a lot of fantasy leagues 2 weeks ago. Bertans, he's emerged with a few big games, but now he's coming back down his stats in the last 3. So Bertans on the season, he's ranked 170 in fantasy basketball, 11 points a game, 3.1 rebounds, 1 assist, 2.8 threes per game, 83% from the foul line, and 37% from the field. The last 2 weeks, though, he's ranked number 91 in fantasy basketball, 12.4 points a game, 4 rebounds and assists, 3.4 threes per, 44% from the field, 88% from the foul line. So Bertans, we know he's a stretch for. He got the $80 million contract this offseason from the Washington Wizards. He's going to hit threes. He's going to be decent at his free throw percentage. His field goal percentage, not so much for Bertans, but we've seen games him explode. But right now, the window is selling him off high. Definitely drop, but if I could trade him off for a decent bench piece, this is the time. Bertans, February 15th versus Houston. 18 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 5 threes. Then February 17th, he was a man possessed out there, and he couldn't miss. 35 points, 3 rebounds, an assist, a steal, a block, and 9 3-pointers. But now the last 3 games, his numbers definitely dropped off to where it was earlier in the season. February 20th at Portland, 6 points, 5 rebounds, 2 threes. February 22nd at the Lakers, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 threes. And then last night at the Clippers, 6 points, 2 threes, and an assist. So Bertans, he's very inconsistent, but he definitely has the potential to have some big games. And we saw it early on last week. But right now, if I could trade him off and get something of decency and more consistency on your roster, this is the time to do it before he has no value at all and you're just going to drop him on the waiver wire. The next forward is Kyle Anderson of the Memphis Grizzlies. So Anderson, he's been pretty solid this season for the Grizzlies and fantasy owners. Ranked number 71 on the year, 13.7 points a game, 6.2 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 1.1 steals per game, 1.7 threes, 47% from the field, 77% from the foul line. But the last 2 weeks, his numbers have skyrocketed, ranked 24th in that time span, 16.3 points a game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2.3 threes per game, 75% from the foul line, and a nice 59% from the field for Anderson. So Anderson, a former San Antonio Spur, he went to the Grizzlies, and he's producing for this team, and he's playing 25 minutes a game and he's putting up the numbers, but I don't think these numbers for him are sustainable. We've seen over his career, he's got a decent amount of a track record where he's just going to have up and down games, and that's what he's exactly doing this season. And we've seen it the last 3 games as well for him. February 17th versus the Thunder, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals, a block, and 2 threes. February 19th versus Detroit, 16 points, 6 boards, 2 threes, an assist. And then February 22nd versus Dallas, 9 points, 4 rebounds, and a steal. So right there's the inconsistency that goes to show, where he has a low ball game in his last one. And I think he'll average about 12 points a game the rest of the season, with 4 or 5 rebounds a game, 1 a steal a game, and 1 or 2 assists. But Anderson, I think you could sell him off at a decent price this week after he had a good stretch of games where he put up big numbers, but I don't think the consistency is going to be there. And a few guys have come back for the Grizzlies now over the last few weeks where his scoring load and minutes per game are going to go down. We've seen Morant come back. We've seen Justin Winslow finally come back, even though he's struggling so far. And we've seen DeAnthony Melton as well play some minutes. And the 5th and final forward, I would look to trade off this week's Kelly Oubre, the Golden State Warriors. Oubre, he's looked good now the last 2 or 3 weeks here for this Warrior team. And he's finally worked into the system. He's playing well. And he's a player that's definitely performing way better than he did earlier in the season. On the season, he's ranked 89th with 15.1 points a game, 6 rebounds, 1.4 assists, 1.2 steals per game, 1.8 threes, 42% from the field, 73% from the foul line. So this guy, it was crazy struggles early in the season for Oubre. Well, I think he went 0 for 30 to start the year or something from 3-point land, but now he's more comfortable in this Golden State Warrior and Steve Kerr system. Him and Curry, they're starting to build a rapport, and he's starting to hit that 3-ball shot at a great rate. And the last 2 weeks, he's ranked number 31st in the time frame, 20 points a game, 7.4 rebounds, 2 assists a game, a nice 1.7 steals, 2.4 threes, 48% from the field, and 69% from the line. So all good numbers right there for Oubre, except his free throw percentage has been poor the last few weeks here, and 69% in the last couple weeks he's been. But besides that, he's putting up numbers. He's playing his game once again like he did the last couple seasons with Phoenix here. And he's looked good, but he's definitely a sell-high candidate right now with Oubre. If you could take a guy like Oubre, who's pretty much on the waiver wire, struggling and not doing much, and if you could trade him off now or package him with someone else for someone good, this is the time to do it. In the last 3 games, he's definitely produced. February 19th at Orlando, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 steals, 3 threes. February 20th at Charlotte, 25 points, 6 boards, an assist, 2 steals, 4 threes. And then last night at the New York Knicks, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and a nice 3 blocks and a 3. So like I said, Oubre, he's given Owen his 6 or 7 categories right now. And if you could sell him high off these big games and all the work he's putting in these categories, this is the time to do it. Because you never know if he could drop back down to the early season struggles like he had. But that's a few forwards I look to sell high here in week 10 of the fantasy basketball season.